did you know that since January 20th, Inauguration Day, Donald Trump's first day in office, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have all closed at record highs multiple times. And yesterday, for the first time ever, the Dow closed at an all-time high, closer to 46,000 than we've ever been before. And today, heading into the holiday weekend, the national average for a gallon of gas is $3.15 a gallon, the lowest it's been since the last time Donald Trump was president, when gas was selling for $2.22 on Labor Day weekend in 2020. Those are both really positive signs. Donald Trump campaigned on Americans paying less, and in almost every facet of our lives, except for interest rates, Americans are already paying less for almost everything. But that's not what you're hearing from the rest of the media this week. According to the left, Donald Trump isn't trying to bring crime down in Washington, D.C. He's building up the military there with hundreds of National Guard troops 3 years ahead of the 2028 election on purpose, because Donald Trump is planning to cancel the 2028 election and remain in power like a king. And if anyone tries to stop him, the National Guard will be there to make sure that Donald Trump stays in power forever. He's not ever going to die. He's going to be a king and remain president forever. We're not kidding. Take a look.
If there was a slow-moving coup, let me just describe some of the steps, and you tell me if I'm being paranoid. First, create a masked police force. Get people used to looking at that. Normalize snatching people off the street. Get them used to that. Normalize seeing the National Guard and the military on the street. Have other states start sending their troops, not just the National Guard there in D.C., but now at least 6 other states are sending their troops. So you have in the Capitol a sort of permanent police presence. So when an election dispute might come up, just hypothetically, I'm going to pretend for the rest of the duration that the Democrats do have a chance of winning, and they might win the next election. I just don't think they're ever going to take power, because this is what's going to happen. Because I think this coup is going to go off a lot smoother than the last one.
So let me just get this straight. According to the left, on the Friday, heading into Labor Day weekend, Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to Washington, D.C. to secure the city for the 2028 election 1,165 days from tonight, so he can stay in power in a massive coup that only he knows about right now. And according to the guy who is currently the leading candidate for the 2028 Democratic nomination to be president, you don't build a $200 million ballroom at the White House unless you plan on using that ballroom.
He will send the National Guard. He will send them all across this country, and he will do so through Election Day. And if you think I'm exaggerating, consider the fact that as he demobilized our National Guard, he kept hundreds of them through Election Day. I don't think Donald Trump wants another election.
And you think he's going to run again?
Don't give me, who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house? This is serious, guys. This is serious.
Well, this is serious, too. That ballroom is going to be ready next year, 2027. At the very latest, Donald Trump will still be president, so I don't know what Gavin is talking about. But what does this all mean? And why are Democrats talking this way right now? Well, it's happening because they're losing everything, everywhere, every day. It also confirms that despite that hair and the Hollywood good looks, Gavin Newsom is about as deep as a bottle of Depp. Remember Depp, the gel? It's also a really good indication of where the Democrat Party is right now. Instead of trying to win voters back, they're already talking about a stolen election happening in 4 years. The other sort of curious part of this whole thing is that yesterday Gavin Newsom announced plans to expand law enforcement in his own state, in California. Not the National Guard, but he's going to surge police to the most dangerous areas of the state, big cities, to try and bring down crime before he runs for president. Take a listen to this very simple question from a local news reporter and Gavin Newsom's response, which is really just a bunch of words coming out of Depp Newsom's mouth. Listen to the words from Depp Newsom.
The two messages today are kind of contradictory. On the one hand, you're mocking Trump's deployments and, highlighting the crime rates in red states that you say are higher, and at the same time, we're here because you're surging law enforcement across the state. So, do you believe that crime is a problem in California or not?
Well, sort of a curious question. I made the entire point that crime's an issue and we want to tackle it. So we're doing it in partnership with our local communities. We did it in partnership with the Biden administration prior. We're not talking about the nationalization, the militarization of the Guard and militarizing United States cities. So quite the contrary.
So, according to Gavin Newsom, it's okay for Gavin to send police into cities in his own state, but it's not okay for Donald Trump to do the same thing in Washington, which constitutionally he has the power to do. Legally, Donald Trump can do what he did. A city, by the way, that's gone 12 days without a homicide, something that is so rare that the Washington Post actually wrote a piece saying that it's not rare, which is how you know it is rare. How rare is DC's 12 days homicide-free? Not as rare as Trump says, which would be like writing how hot is the sun? Not as hot as you'd think. So that's the state of our media on this Friday night. And Dep Newsom tonight. And normally we wouldn't feel the need to address any of this, but because all of this, Democrats now feel completely empowered to do whatever they want. If they get fired, if you're a Democrat, you don't have to leave. They're Democrats. No one can fire Democrats. And this is now happening all over the place. It's happening at the Federal Reserve. Not only is Jerome Powell playing politics every day by refusing to lower interest rates to make life more inexpensive for Americans, he did this twice before the election, seemingly trying to help Kamala Harris win the election. It didn't work. But now a woman named Lisa Cook, who no one had ever heard of on Monday, is refusing to resign after Donald Trump fired her. Yesterday, she announced that she is suing the president after he tried to remove her, stating that she's unfit for office for a good reason. There was a criminal referral claiming that she lied on multiple mortgage applications, which is even more disturbing when you consider that she was on the Board of Governors at the Federal Reserve, an organization that is tasked with setting interest rates, and that has a big impact on mortgage rates. We think this phrase is way overused, but you cannot make this stuff up. And now Lisa Cook, who was just appointed to a 14-year term when Joe Biden was president. 14-year term. Like, what? Who gets a job for 14 years? Yes, you will be in place for 14 years. She just hired Hunter Biden's lawyer, which you only do if you're guilty, to fight the accusation that she lied on multiple mortgage applications. She listed at least 2 separate homes as her primary residence to secure better loan terms. That's the accusation, okay? Which, if true, is not only a crime, it's a federal crime. And yet Lisa Cook is refusing to step down from her role at the Federal Reserve, which is a trend unique to Donald Trump, unique to Democrats. Also this week, the director of the CDC refused to step down after being fired as Democrats continue to think they can do whatever they want.